SB19. A few days ago, at the time of recording right now, I released a video, and that was my first time ever hearing SB19. The song was Time, a really good song and a really moving video. A lot of tears, people were saying in the comments. The boys weren't in that video, it was like a mini movie, but we did actually watch a live performance of them as well, so I got to see them singing in person for the first time as well, which was super cool. I've just heard one song by them so far, so I don't think I can be classified as an 18 just yet. Yeah, I'm down with the lingo. That's the word for the SB19 fans. Anyway, that one song, Time, was great. I listened to it many times on repeat, so we could well be on the path to achieving 18 status. This song today, ILAW, which means light. Let's see how it sets us up on our SB19 journey. So this is a lyrics video, and I'll have the English closed captions on as well.
Kanina ay nahuli ang aking sarili, nakangiti na naman at nagkukumli, ng tunay na kailanman ay di ko maipagsasabi na naman. At pagdating sa aking tahanan ay hindi ko na naman mahanap aking susi. Saang lubalap ko ba to na itabi, pasintabi na naman. Nalilito, nahihilo na sa inyo. Nasaan na nga bang sarili kong pagkatao?
Right, I know this is the chorus because I read the lyrics beforehand in English and I remember this line about the ear being the start of the chorus. So we'll carry on in just a moment. I want to give some initial thoughts because I find myself here again listening to them but not seeing them. The only difference this time compared to last time, my first time, is that maybe I'm in a little bit of a better position to try and guess who's singing at any moment now that I have actually seen them singing live once. I think this bit that we have just heard where I just paused, that has to be Pablo. Thank you to everyone, by the way, who commented on my last video, all the information about SB19. Really interesting to learn about them. I have learned their names as well, so I will be referencing them by name. I remember when I first saw SB19 in the flesh, that live performance of Time, Pablo's range really surprised me. The upper register, because when I first heard him, or saw him anyway, he started much lower down. He has a super high chest voice like Stell, but Pablo, I think, has a bit more of a gritty texture when he sings up there. It sounds a little bit more strained. I guess we'll see if I'm right about this and him when we watch the Wish Bus performance of ILAW right after this. Yep, you heard that right. After this reaction to the lyric video, I will be watching their Wish Bus performance. There is genuinely no exaggeration in the nickname Live Monsters, because that's what they are. Just like I did with the Time live performance, the Wish Bus performance of ILAW, that will be on Patreon, so you can find that linked below in the pinned comment, and over there is the Time live performance too. Okay, well, while we're here, and I'm guessing, I think it could be quite fun to try and guess who we've heard so far singing. Look, I've only heard Time before, so if I get it wrong, go easy on me, but I'll give it my best shot. So, right from the start,
kanina ay nahuli ang aking sarili, nakangiti na naman at nagkukumli.
Not so obvious, but if we move forward a few seconds, that has to be Ken. That has to be Ken. He has such a distinct voice. Then when the next person comes in, I really like that line, by the way. Na na man, na na man. It's a bit of a tongue twister for an English speaker. Right, this one I'm not as sure about. I think it's Josh. Why? Because when Josh finishes again on na na man, because I was thinking, oh, I really like that line. Then I think Justin comes in.
Nahihilo na sa inyo.
Yeah, I think that's Justin. It's not Stell here, it's not Pablo. Yeah, that's Justin. It has to be Justin. And then just before we paused, which I know is the chorus, that is Pablo, I think. Which means we have not yet heard Stel. And with a voice like his, it makes sense to leave him coming in maybe on a super powerful entry later on in the song, maybe even later on in the chorus. I don't know. I'd guess he comes in soon though. Let's carry on with the song now. It's a 5-minute song, quite long, so if I sit here talking, we'll be here all day. Later on though, I'll dive a bit more into the music itself.
Kahit pa ako'y sumigaw ay malabo. Oh, at tao po, pakinggan nyo naman ako. Bakit di nyo subukan buksan ang bukas namang pinto, nang tuluyan ang makita nyo, tunay na ako, di nagtatago. Sa likod ng bumubulang na ilaw na to, napapamuni-muni sa kawalan ng huni. Di mapapirmi aking sarili. Ilang nga ang dahilan kung ako ngayon nasan man, ngunit kailangan kong magpahinga, pati ng ilupan sa mantala.
When I am smiling, I'm not laughing at the lyrics or anything. It's just because they're really good. Like Ken there, switching to his falsetto. Stel, when he came in, immediately switching to his falsetto too. And also the lyrics. I'm obviously reading the English lyrics. I did get comments saying that SB19, their music, is very heartfelt. And I think that goes without saying. We can just see in the lyrics. But also reading a language which, you know, as an English speaker, it's quite peculiar to me. And it's so poetic. I mean, just look at these combinations of letters that we're getting. This line as well. Napapamuni-muni sa kawalan ng huni. Yeah, really nice. Right, where did I get to when I paused? Pablo really likes his O's way up there, doesn't he? So much power, it almost makes my throat hurt a little bit. I'm almost thinking if he carries on like that, he's going to damage his voice. I know he won't. It's just the type of sound he has, which I think is very distinctive, almost like a halfway between Ken and Stel when singing up there.
Bakit ganito? Inakalang magbabago? Kabayaran ba dito'y sarili ko'y maglalaho?
Sorry, I'm playing the song. I meant to be pausing now. Just if you're not aware, pausing helps reactors like me with copyright. If we play the song all the way through, then it's more likely our video gets removed. Got a bit carried away there. But this is Josh. Like, that has to be Josh, right? And again, such a high chest voice. They all have a really high chest voice. Almost like natural tenor voices. It's a much lighter sound rather than a baritone or a bass sound. Maybe not Ken. His voice naturally is lower down. But Ken, from what we're seeing, can still sing up there. And he just changes to his falsetto if he needs to. Speaking of Ken, we had a Ken moment. I think that's why I was smiling. He's an asset to the group. I mean, they all are, but especially with these moments, he can come in a moment and it just adds power, emotional power to the song. We hear it and it almost takes you back a little bit. You think, oh, I had the exact same response in my time reaction. I think the most unique voice, or the most almost characterful voice. And let's go back to the chorus again for Stel's first entry. So I do think it's Stel. It just surprised me that he immediately switched into his head voice, his falsetto up there. Why? Well, from what we've seen, he has an insanely high chest voice, but naturally the higher he sings, staying in that chest voice or a blended voice will obviously just start to be too powerful. So switching to the head voice adds a certain element of, I don't know, what's the word, delicateness, but then how he immediately contrasts it with this growl. and then into the chest voice at the end, sliding down. Right, sorry, enough of me guessing who might be singing. I guess I'll find out in the Wish Bus performance afterwards. Let me talk a little bit about the music. I'll just make one point, probably my only point actually, before we carry on with the song, and then maybe I'll touch on some other things later. I want to talk about the arrangement, the instrumentation that we're hearing. We start the song with just a guitar. There's no percussion, no drums, no beat or anything like that. So the playing technique of the guitar itself is way more percussive than we might otherwise hear. It's essentially acting as not only the provider of the harmony, the chords, the notes, but also the rhythms, the beats, the percussion. We have slaps, the actual durations of each note that's being played, whether it's strummed or plucked. So this is really rhythmic. We move forward a bit and then we start to hear this larger sound, a choir maybe. Nahihilo na sa inyo. The effect of a choir, but maybe the more important other instrument that we're hearing actually, the bass line. Is that a cello? Maybe, probably. If so, I find that really interesting because a cello is often considered to be the instrument whose timbre, the way it sounds, is the most similar to the human voice. So bringing in extra human voices as like a backing choir along with the cello, they blend really well together and it makes much more of a subtle growth of sound. Then more voices come in, again more choir-like, almost angel-like. It makes me think of like a gospel choir or a church choir, a sense of community, everyone singing together, that kind of thing, a familial feel. But we also hear strings at the top. Right up there, very high. It sounds like a violin playing long sustained note like an inverted drone. So overall, we have a strong relationship between voices and the strings themselves are split into the more orchestral chamber instruments, cello, violin, and then obviously the guitar played in a modern style. Quite different from each other. Let's carry on with the song. Bakit ganito? Inakalang magbabago? Kabayaran ba dito'y sarili ko'y maglalaho? Sino bang may tenga sa mga bulong ko? Kahit pa ako'y sumigaw ay malabo. Oh, tao po, pakinggan nyo naman ako. Bakit di niya subukan buksan ang bukas namang pinta nang tuluyan ang makita nyo? Tunay na ako, di nagtatago sa likod na bumubulag na ilaw na to. Catchy, very catchy. Ito na naman ako, patungo sa presinto, mag-iisip ng kung ano-ano. Kailan bang laya ko dito? Ito na naman ako, pwede bang ipagpaliban muna ng isang linggo? Pwede muna bang hinto? Papalapin na, ako'y papalapin na. Well, just a moment ago I was saying we don't have any percussion. I guess I was wrong now. The percussion has come in. Percussion makes the sound fuller, heavier. Look at the lyric at the bottom of the screen here. Heavier. Footsteps growing heavier. Really good lyric painting. What's also interesting about these few seconds I've just heard, I'll just play it again. I want you to listen to the rhythmic stresses. So we're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can hear how we're stressing 1, 2, chumpa, pumpa, pumpa. But the whole song before this is doing something slightly different. So it's like 1, 2, 3, chum, pa pa bum bum. 1, 2, 3, chum. Nalilito, nahihilo na sa inyo. But for the heavier bit, that is changed. Very equal, very regimented. Chum, pum, pum. Boom. It shows how important rhythms are in music and even just where you put the accents or the stresses on which beats, they can transform the sound. Okay, let me quickly just go over the harmony itself, the chords that we're hearing, because I believe harmony is pretty much the most important thing when it comes to music. You can have a melody, but if you change the harmony underneath it, it will completely transform the type of sound. I'll use the beginning because it's easiest to hear, but we basically get 4 chords.
Kanina ay nahuli ang aking sarili. Nakangiti na naman at nagkukuli.
So far we've heard bum, bum,
Nang tunay na kailanman ay di ko maipagsas.
bum. So we put them together. It's a very well-known chord progression and really easy to listen to. We immediately feel familiar with it because it's used in other really famous songs. Let's Get It On is one that comes to mind. I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold this feeling for so long. And if you feel like I feel, come on, oh, come on. The chorus is slightly different though.
Bakit di nyo subukan buksan ang bukas namang pinto nang tuluyan ang makita
That's the same so far.
nyo. Tunay na ako, di nagtatago. Sa likod ng bumubulang na ilaw na to.
So the chorus, instead of we get and then
Di nagtatago.
the minor version
Ng bumubulang na ilaw na to.
and then back to continue, etc. So a little harmonic change there can completely transform the feel from major happy sounding chords to minor, and at the same time, what do?
Sa likod ng bumubulang na ilaw na to.
Just a cappella singing in a very airy voice. The lyrics behind this blinding light is what the song ILAW translates to. Woo! All right, let's carry on with the song.
Palapit na, ako'y papalapit na. Bigat siya pag ng bawat hakbang nitong paa. Patungo sa lugar kung saan ayaw kong pumunta. Wala na bang iba? Wala na ba?
Patuloy ang aking paghahanap sa pag-asa. Ngunit walang saysay ba ang pamamagkaawa? Ano ba ba ang kabuluhan nitong aking paghinga? Sino?
I was going to say, I love the electric guitar being introduced. I was speaking earlier about the strings and the voices and then the other type of strings in the acoustic guitar being played. And now we have electric guitar along with the drums. The whole feel is transformed. The obvious other thing though is that rhythmic change again.
Wala na ba?
Patuloy ang aking paghahanap sa pag-asa.
Cha 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 cha. I was mentioning before we're thinking in fours. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're thinking in terms of threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a really good way to just shift the energy that we're feeling from the music.
Sino? 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 Pag may tenga sa mga bulong ko, kahit pa ako'y sumigaw ay malabo, malabo, malabo. Sino? Bang may tenga sa mga bulong ko, kahit pa ako'y sumigaw ay malabo. At tao po, pakinggan nyo naman ako. Subukan buksan ang bukas namang pinto nang tuluyan ang makita nyo. Tunay na ako, di nagtatago. Sa likod ang bumubulag na ilaw na to.
And that's it. You can really feel so many different words were going through my head at that point. I was thinking it sounds very pained, emotional pain that you can hear in their voices. One of them, I think Pablo, sounded like he was going to cry at one point. You had obviously this very, you know, this really, what's the word? Almost desperation. And in terms of the arrangement as well, when we had this bit, violin and cello moving down in harmony together. So now they're fully leaning into the orchestral type of sound. Lovely dissonant chord there as well for tension. And there's the rhythmic guitar coming back. The electric guitar, all these O's going on.
Kulong ka, kahit pa gusto ligawing malabo.
In the background, it really is an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes with songs, there's very clear, sad, quieter section, loud, angry, bigger section. Here, they switch between them so quickly, we almost don't really have time to, I don't know, fully understand what's happening. It keeps us on our toes. It's keeping me on my toes anyway. I never know what is happening next. Yeah, really interesting song. If there was a video for this as well, I definitely would not be able to keep up with the music and the video. It's hard enough just keeping up with the lyrics and the music, just because there's so much happening in the music. Well, now I get to see them do it live on the Wish Bus. Links below in the pinned comment once more if you want to watch that with me. And if not, well, thank you very much for watching this video. You did amazing on the last video with the likes and the comments, so it would be great to do the same here. Show me that you want to see more SB19 on the channel. Comment your favorite songs by them you'd like me to do. And if you don't want to write any words, the emoji that you can put instead will be light or a light bulb like you see on the screen now because of the song's name. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one.